In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 64 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Meridian in Idaho talking with Caitlin Henning Montoya. Caitlin is the owner and CEO of Get Social with Cait. Life's too short for bad social media. From interactive classes to personalized coaching sessions, they offer hands-on learning experiences to help you navigate the ever-changing world of social media. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy.
Well, Caitlin, welcome to the Swell Pod.
Oh my gosh! Oh, we're starting. Okay,
Jumping right into
here
it.
we go. Jumping right into it. Okay,
And,
hi. Thank you.
Make yourself feel very welcome here in our nice little podcast room.
Yeah, this is great.
For anyone that's watching or listening, we turned up this morning and we needed a place, and this is probably the best place that we could have found and the coolest place, and this is your office.
Thank you very much.
And we've taken over the office, and so
you guys have done a great job decorating. I love it.
Yeah, we moved a few things around. Yeah, but thank you for being one of the 100. So that's the goal: 100 pleasantly rebellious people, and we're gonna, we're over halfway already, and now we are in. Where are we?
We're in Meridian,
Idaho. It's been a long night.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So
It's
if you
early.
could, I'd love you to introduce yourself, your name, and especially what you do and why what you're passionate about and why.
Oh my gosh. So obviously I'm Cait Montoya, previously Henning, now Montoya. I just got married not that long ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
So my company is Get Social with Cait. I've been doing social media since about 2009. I'm an absolute nerd with it, and I've just had a massive passion for it. And I just kind of geek out on it. I started this agency actually 2 years ago, as of like a week and a half ago. So we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Great.
I've never been a business owner, so this was quite the leap, but it's been really cool. It kind of evolved from where I first started it, but right now we primarily focus on social media management for small and kind of medium-sized companies, a few individuals, and we basically do content creation, photography, videography, graphic design, posting, captions, all that jazz. And then the other half of it is coaching one-on-one, and something I have to do this afternoon, get to do, is teach. So I love to teach. It's one of my absolute favorite things. I love giving back to other small business owners and just a lot of hand-holding because I know it's a lot to learn. And yeah, so that's the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's amazing. Where did the passion for social media start?
Yeah.
Actually, so I only briefly went to college, by the way, and only whenever I was like 22, and I thought it was something I wanted to do, but really I just ended up quitting after like a semester.
Yeah.
But whenever I was 19, and this is something I tell so many other like young people or young entrepreneurs, is just find somebody that's really, really good at something, that's willing to mentor you. And I found a really awesome mentor whenever I was 19 at a solar company. And they just kind of started teaching me things online, marketing, all this jazz. And honestly, I loved it. I'm a complete nerd, by the way.
Yeah.
I am a huge techie. So they actually let me sit there and actually build their backend CRM.
Oh, wow.
I became their part-time tech person, and then basically their like part-time marketing associate.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really cool. So that's just really, I think that's where it kind of sparked.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's amazing. And so your business, is it focused on specific platforms, or are you kind of all over? Yeah.
Great question. So primarily, obviously, Instagram, Facebook. We can do stuff for TikTok and YouTube, but there's such a beast of platforms that although I do post it and get on there and stuff, it's not something that we primarily focus on. And then my absolute favorite is LinkedIn. I think it is so underrated. I think LinkedIn is the best. I have some of the coolest stories because of it. And I think it was sort of a slept-on platform up until this last couple of years because they've really started to adopt almost like a Facebook kind of style of it, but still keeping it professional. So
if you could give us the I guess the pitch on why even our podcast, why we should focus on, or maybe like elevate our focus on LinkedIn.
Why and then how?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, number one, obviously you guys are filming, right? Yeah. So on LinkedIn, I feel like it's not like so convoluted with so much content. So video content really goes straight to the top. It's also something that a lot of people that have been on LinkedIn for a long time don't think to do video content.
Yeah.
But anything that I've done, it gets almost twice the reach as any other platform.
No way.
Because there's so much video on Facebook and Instagram and obviously YouTube and TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And then honestly, the reach. So you can meet so many people on there. And they're just sort of credible, if that makes sense, versus Facebook and Instagram, where it's a lot more kind of creative. You don't know if they're a real person. You don't know if not. Yeah. These are actual business owners. They have their entire reputation and every place they've worked underneath. So if you want to connect with someone, you actually know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And it's just not like messy with anything like political or crazy. It's just, it's fun, educational, just inspiring stuff.
Yeah. It seems like overall, everybody on LinkedIn is very receptive. And I think that, but it's also, I think, ripe for some of like exactly what you're talking about. You just don't see a lot of the content that we're producing. You know, I think there's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, there's a lot of influencers that we've interviewed as well. I'm not sure if they're true influencers, but on LinkedIn they've got big followings. It's when they post vulnerable insights into their lives. They show visuals, photos, and video, and they're well received, those messages, because it hasn't had that.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's been this professional, build up a big network of professional, credible people, but don't go further than that. And now it seems like people are really doing that, but we need to use it.
Suit and tie, but now it's more like beanies, chill. You know what I mean? And so, but you literally, hit the nail on the head. So.
We should just ask for some advice.
I think that was some advice right there. But 100, can you just, we're trying to build momentum, right? That's what the Swell Pod is all about, taking an idea and creating something that never existed before, creating momentum. And a lot of, I think, why we were interested in this journey was, you know, we've done a couple seasons already. And the idea was like, okay, well, we need to put this to the test, and we need to see how can we go from what it is now to something much different. Yeah. And but I'm wondering, so just to turn it back to you.
Yeah. No, honestly, I love this. I love, if I could preach LinkedIn, I'll do it all day.
It's very interesting. We've been having an internal debate, you know, in terms of how do we approach it? You know, do we kind of equal it out to what we do on Instagram, various different things? But
I post every single thing I post on Instagram, with the exception of like cat content, because I have a cat, or like overly personal stuff, but even still I get pretty raw and real on LinkedIn. Yeah. And I share it all across the same platform in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting.
So we need to just do that.
I'm gonna make some LinkedIn fools out of you. I'm so excited. Yes.
So almost 2 years.
Yes.
And what have been some of the bigger challenges, you know, as a new business owner, you know, kind of jumping into this as well? It sounds like you're really hungry for information, and you're diving into all the, you know, and if you're going to learn about something, you dive, you know, head first into it. But
definitely hyperfixate, which could be a good or a bad thing. Challenges. So I have never had employees until this year. So that's always fun. I feel like I've been, you know, a leader and had some people underneath me on a team, but like really pouring into employees it's a challenge. And to be a leader, like I've never had to be one like this. Thank you, all of these fun leadership books behind you, you know, and really asking so much advice from other people. And then also honing in specifically on what I want to do. I think when I first started, I was like, I'll do it all. What do you guys need help with? Like, I'll set up your Google business profile. I'll build some websites, like everything, but just to really narrow it down. And that's been challenging, but exciting. And I've actually hired 2 different business coaches that have helped me so much to really hone in on that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, a lot of us kind of suffer from this as well. Like we're really interested in a lot of different things, like, and we can hyperfixate, and we can be distracted by the next awesome thing, you know,
threads.
Yeah. And it is hard, I think, to get that focus on the one thing to the point where you can really build that momentum. Is that something that the coaches helped you with, or is that something that you learned?
Yes. My first one was Austin. He is a really rad dude. I actually knew him in Washington. He was a realtor at the time, and I was in title and escrow. I was actually trying to get his business. He worked in marketing previously, and then decided to start his own agency. Started very small, has really grown. I think he has like 24 employees now. And I was like, show me everything. Yes, please. He really, really, really said like narrow down on that. Like just really find the things that you guys are good at, find the platforms you want to be on, find the specific things that you're going to offer. And then my next coach, kind of the same thing. She really helped a lot with the system stuff, because even if you hone in on one thing, like how do you streamline it to really save your time?
Yeah.
Which is also something else I've rabbit holed down, but has really made a massive difference. So definitely.
Nice.
What did you say no to?
Oh gosh. So.
And what was hard?
Yes,
to let go?
to say, well, one, it's actually, I'm like sad now because I don't really get to manage a lot of the accounts we bring on, you know, I had to pass them off to my girls. But a lot of different like design stuff. So whenever people come to, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this too, social media marketing, they're like, they just kind of assume you're the marketing department. And so although we've done newsletters and we have a couple people, I'm kind of saying no to that now, because it has nothing to do with social media. It's a completely different avenue. Although yes, I know how, it's just not something that I need to focus on, because it's not what we're exceptional at, right? So basically stuff outside of that, print marketing. I kid you not, I was making business cards. I was like, what am I doing? So I've had to say no to basically anything that is outside the realms of quite literally social media posting. Like graphics can be made, but we're not your in-house graphic designer for everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So did you just have enough clients coming in to where you could say no to that, or was it tough at first?
Great question. So I felt like whenever I started off, people were like, oh my God, you're just like really being successful right now. Well, the thing is, I've actually been doing social media here locally. I started in 2011 in the real estate realm, although I've never actually like sold or done mortgages or done title and escrow. I've been a salesperson and done social media marketing for all three of those styles of things. And each one of them, I offered my services at no cost because I got paid if they brought in money towards that company. And so I've basically been working one-on-one and managing profiles for well over a decade. And so whenever I decided to start my own, people were like, yes, finally I can work with you outside of the company that you were with. So it was really a blessing, to be honest. So it was really cool. So yes, I feel very lucky that all of our clients have been referral based and LinkedIn. I'm not kidding. I swear it's like my top thing, but so it's been kind of on that. So it's been really cool to be able to say no to things. Like, okay, no, I'm going to go on this. I've also had to, I'm sort of a people pleaser. So I've had to be like, oh no, I got to charge more on this, and I can't keep kind of cutting stuff. So I've had to learn a lot of that.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And thinking about, so where you're at now and then the future of your business, where do you see it growing? Where do you, what's your vision?
Great question, right? I love this office so much. I don't know that I ever want to give it up, but it's like, I want to get more people on my team. And I'm even kind of teetering on that because I've been so cautious with bringing on new clients and not providing the great service. But if I do, I want to bring on part-time and then full-time employees. So I'm hoping to just have just a nice, great team of awesome people. I want our management to just be like so sexy and good. We're actually shifting the management clients that we want. We're leaning more towards kind of like service industry, food, drink, stuff like that. Cool. That's more product type things versus service, which is, you know, we've had mortgage lenders and realtors and insurance and stuff like that, where that's trickier. So I'm hoping in the next couple of years, we start leaning more towards that. It's a lot more fun content. And we kind of grow our team. And then we also have a lot more like online product and courses, because that would be goals.
So that's more fun stuff, right? It is fun. Is that why you're saying that's the focus? Yeah. Just because you enjoy it more and you'll do a better job, or is there other reasons why?
Are you saying like for just like the growing management wise? Are you saying like courses or okay? Sorry.
Yeah, trying to focus in on less service and more physical products. I think digital products. Why is that? Is it just because it's more fun that you're focusing on that?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Honestly,
just simple as that.
We have a client. They're it's called Vintage 61. They're an amazing wine bar here locally. And I got them as a client because I used to go there all the time until I had an office. And I would just sit and have my wine, and I would work in a little happy hour, do my thing. And then they were like, what do you do? And I'm like, social media. And so when they were ready, they hired me. Oh my gosh, that is the content I want to do forever. It's so fun. You can be so creative. And it's just like all this beautiful content versus, hey, whenever you're thinking about like buying a home, like think of me type stuff. Like the service, it's just so much more difficult. And you're trying to get more of a personality across versus like a full brand. And I'm sure you guys love the whole brand aspect too. Of just there's so much that you can be like, this is who we are versus this is who I am as an individual. It's a trickier content.
So you're bringing more of your passion and your skill set to that area. And so do you see the time when you don't say yes, you say no to all of the other clients?
I'm hoping. I know I push a lot of them off and be like, so we'll see, kind of. And I do refer, there's a couple other social media agents here locally, or social media agencies here locally. Actually, one of them was my coach. She's exceptional.
Yeah.
That I do refer people out to if I'm just like, all right, this isn't a good fit, or we're trying to get away from that, but this person might be wonderful for you. So
just one other thank you for that clarifying question about what makes you really different. Obviously it sounds like the passion and the experience. Is there any other differentiating kind of way you approach it or measure the success, or I don't know.
Great question. Well, okay, how do I say this? Yeah, so I'm definitely, I think my passion for sure is like way out there. I also think that I've just had the ability to kind of take in brands that didn't have a voice, or were like, even though they're kind of well known, they didn't really have an online like presence, and grow the heck out of them. I don't know if I can swear on this place.
Yeah.
But go the hell out of them, right? And really like showcase who they are and truly encompass it. And then Boise's such a small community that like, I know that the content that I've put out there wasn't just something that we threw at the wall. Like it actually worked, and we changed people's minds, and we were really able to like kind of put it out there, that I felt like whenever other people come to me and they're like, oh, what makes you different? And I'm like, okay, do you remember like, this company? Yes. Yeah. Cool. They had 7 posts whenever I took it over. Yeah. And then look at them now, and they're like, whoa, like they do this, and this. And I'm like, yes. So I think, I don't know if that's a unique identifier.
Yeah, I think local, so. Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, if we had longer, I'd love to go into back to what we're trying to do. Like, what results, and can you, if you're comparing two agencies, like what stands you out? But it is the passion, and you're driven to the results,
and the
right?
Results, yeah.
And so, I'd love to speak offline about what we're trying to do as well. Yeah. Well, we do need to. Time is flying by here.
I think it'd be interesting to see. I think maybe a couple more questions, but I do want to ask, like, so for other small businesses, medium-sized businesses, what's one piece of advice that you might be able to give them related to their social media?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do I hone this down?
It's a tough one. I know it's such a big question. Yeah.
What's the scenario?
Right. Well, unless you have a scenario, go for it.
But I don't. But let's say that they have established. So they have an established identity, a voice. But they are. Yeah, I think that they maybe they're in a rut. They're in a bit of a rut. Maybe. Yeah, stale. Yeah.
I can think of a company actually.
Oh, can you?
So let's say it.
I guess if they are stuck and they don't really know, like, content-wise, or they're just like, maybe it's not even like
they're just not seeing the momentum. I guess they're not seeing the movement. Yeah.
Well, number one, I used to tell people that business is fine, but try to make business as personal as possible. And so I think sometimes businesses will have like these great concepts, and they're kind of thrown out there like, hey, I'm this, and we offer these things, right? But they're not actually going in and like helping people see like the scenario where it actually makes sense for them to be involved. Yeah. People like it to kind of be about them selfishly. It's just who we are. Yeah. But maybe telling a brand that, like, or a company, hey, that if you guys want to promote or do stuff on social media, maybe you guys are stuck here not seeing results, maybe start shifting your focus to like, how can I offer the people that are our audience more value? How can I get them to see that like they can see themselves in, whatever scenario that makes sense for them? But showing faces, just being more personable, I think will get you so much further. Something that we've seen in 2024 is that raw sort of not super sexy footage goes way further. Professional video for sure is great, but that unedited, not the best lighting, kind of shaky video really does thrive. And I think that a company that like not being afraid to not be super picture perfect and sexy, just show the personality. And I think they would see a really big difference. And I think companies are so scared. They want to have that magazine Instagram look, and it's just no one really cares about that anymore. I mean, you should have consistency, but like it's not major.
It's almost like you question the overly produced stuff now. It's hard to really trust it as authentic.
Yeah.
I think that there's something about that. Can I? So I think we're gonna go over, but does your business, does it focus on ad buying? Do you get into that space?
Oh, that's such a whole other realm.
I know,
oh my gosh, we've been asked about that so many times. I mean, I tried doing it. Oh God, I want to say like in 2018, back when it was like you could literally target down to if people had 2 credit cards and they lived here and they were divorced or something like that. You could narrow it down so much. Now it's so much trickier. Yeah. But it's a whole other realm. So we focus primarily organic social media.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll also tell honestly one other thing, any other business owner is like, focus on one platform
Yeah.
before you start tackling everything else. So if you guys are like, yes, I feel so good about Instagram, feel so good about Facebook, now I'm going to take on LinkedIn because we've got this dialed in. When businesses start, and we've seen this with people coming to us too, they're like, I want to post here and can I get on TikTok? And I'm like, do you even have the app downloaded? Do you know what, just calm down for a second. Like, yeah, and get used to being authentic on there and posting content and feeling good about it before you shift to another. That makes sense.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
We really don't have much experience social stuff, do we? Or at least maybe you do.
No,
we've kind of
we're
joked
learning.
about it.
We're testing. We're iterating.
It's like, but we can also be quite private people. Like we don't,
It is.
Speaking for myself, like, do I want to share things? You get so used to sharing things inside big companies. What am I allowed to share outside, or am I comfortable with sharing?
Well, after a 20-year stint with a professional, well-known company, that you're like, oh gosh, and everything could be controversial. It's kind of scary.
That's right. Sure. And so getting used to, but I feel it's like actually quite, what's the word? Anyway,
like
motivation. Inspirational. Just to be able to get out your voice and your tone and post and be vulnerable, and that's great.
Well, I'll also say, like, just know that we say this a lot in our classes, that personal doesn't mean private.
Right.
So, like a lot of the stuff I also do, I'm also a local influencer. I post a lot about like foods and like local places and things to do. My husband and I always go out to eat and do all this fun stuff. And I really show everyone specifically the kind of things that I want them to see, animal content, here behind the scenes. I talk a lot about ADHD, mental health stuff, but like, that's it. There's so much that's still mine that I don't have to. And I think people get really overwhelmed with the fact that they're like, I have to show all my stuff. I have to be personable, whatever, but you still get to kind of hold on to your identity without having to show all the private stuff.
I really like that. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I love that.
Questions. This is not, we needed longer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, we do like 1.5-hour interviews usually. And so we love to get deep into stuff.
20 minutes is so tough.
It's a challenge for us, this whole thing.
Especially
I can imagine.
Our story yesterday about going LinkedIn Live. When we finish this session, we should talk about that.
There's a good 10-minute video of Spencer freaking out
I just
about
thought,
a LinkedIn Live
We've got a 10-hour trip to Boise. I'm thinking, I'm thinking, let's just do a LinkedIn Live because I've got couple of thousand people, 2,000-3,000 people. I thought, let's do it. And I didn't know how to create the link.
We're driving like 90 miles an hour down the freeway, like 10 minutes before the actual live was scheduled.
These guys weren't helping me though. They were just watching me stressing out.
I was driving 90 miles an hour.
That's no excuse now. But you can create a live event, but then I'm like, well, where's the link?
It's like the celebrities when they're like, are we live? Am I live? And they're like staring at us, you know what I mean?
It's kind of embarrassing for all, but I think, that is a platform that we're diving into a little bit more.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited for you.
And then we did an Instagram live at McDonald's, but anyway, that's another.
Yeah, we were like, we told them earlier in the morning we're going live at 8.
Yeah.
We're like, we had no idea where we were going to be. And so we're just like, we have to pull over.
Pacific, mountain, we don't know.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So McDonald's it was, wasn't it?
I do have another question.
Yeah.
So what role has Kiln played in the building of your business and your growth?
Yeah. So one, talked about the leadership thing earlier. It is quite literally built-in culture for you. So I don't have to go out of the way to be like, oh, like there's a community here. So many entrepreneurs, people are amazing. Yoga, I mean? We've got a chair massage thing. Yes, love it. So like that is amazing. And then we actually work with quite a few people. There are full-fledged clients because of Kiln. Like they literally walked in here. One of them has been with us for a few months now and said, hey, like you guys do social media, right? And we're like, yeah, and came in, rad dude. And now he's one of our favorite clients. So it's really helped with getting awesome people. And then Jen, who's exceptional. She's just a really smart cookie when it comes to like the management and leadership stuff, where I also feel like I have to learn a lot. Like it's really nice to have somebody who knows that and will say, have you thought about this? Or it's okay to ask these things. And so it's almost just like really nice business advice. And then guys, this is so sexy. Like this is such a beautiful spot. I mean, I used to meet with my team and even like clients at coffee shops or even in my house. All my Zoom calls had my animals, which I have a Bengal like screaming in the background. So bad. And so here, people walk in, they've got a reception desk. I look really professional. And so it's been an absolute game changer, to be very honest, to have a space like this as a creative. So I think that's the massage chairs. I haven't tried them out, but I think I have gosh. It took me a few months. And then I finally was like, I should probably try this it'll change your life.
Okay.
Just don't fall to sleep in one. I fell asleep for like an hour in one once.
I do follow. That's where we take our naps.
Yeah.
I was pretty sore after
Oh,
that.
were you?
I was like, my backside was.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
amazing.
too much information. I did want to ask, and a question I shouldn't now ask, but just a concise, brief answer. How did you stumble across, even though you haven't managed people a lot or for a long period of time, you found actually coaching, mentoring, training, courses, that's actually all about people, really, isn't it? But how did you stumble across that you love that as well as much as you love the social, you love this other thing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like that one-on-one time. So my role for, I want to say it was like 5 years, in title and escrow and then mortgage banking as well. My whole role was to get realtors and lenders to work with us. So what I did is I actually, since I was like, hey, like we can be buddies and you can send stuff in, I would sit down with them and be like, okay, open your laptop. We're going to work. And so I would essentially sit there and help them with social media and coach them and train them. And every single time someone left, I felt like so good because they would be like, oh my God, thank you for all this help. And I'm like, dude, no problem. Like I love doing this. And if I could give somebody like one nugget and they leave and it just changes their day or changes their business, I feel like I nailed it, you know? So it's definitely helping people, but I just felt, with those one-on-ones. And I was technically starting to teach in 2016, I think is when I first officially started. And I used to host classes like every 3 weeks. And it was just because I needed to group them all together. So I didn't have to have so many one-on-ones. And it was a blast. So I've actually done a lot of public speaking. We've spoken in front of like hundreds, thousands. It's kind of wild because I feel like, whoa, that's crazy. But the theater kid in me thrives. And it's every time I'm just like, if I can help a few people here, like it feels so good.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's my excitement.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Campervans, a luxury campervan rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra Campervans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
Also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables,
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables.
and enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your tourist station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I love
Thank
that.
you for being one of our 100.
We have
Your
one other
energy
question
level-
real
I know,
quick.
I know.
So-
Your energy level is kind of, you're waking me up, and
Yay.
it's really infectious, and I can see where people would want to work with you.
Oh, you guys are so okay. My ego is not going to fit through this door.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys. It's really cool to talk about. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are awesome.
So the last question that we like to ask everybody
Yeah.
is, what do you think it takes to take an idea? So this can be an idea for a business,
Yeah.
a piece of content, whatever the case may be. Take an idea and create a movement. What do you think that takes?
Okay, I was like reading your guys' questions like last night,
Yeah.
2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to sound so eloquent, right? I mean, I feel like for me, and it might sound cheesy, I was told by so many friends, like, oh, you should just start your own business, It wasn't until I finally got to the point, and honestly, tell me if I'm off track, but like where I have an amazing husband, a really supportive spouse, right? And then friends and a really good circle. I'm in my 30s. So when you start hitting your 30s, you kind of start, kind of pushing people out, and you just have your core.
Mhm.
I would not have been able to do this, to have this idea, this passion, without quite literally having the support of people around me going like, dude, you can do it. And because almost, I don't know, once a week I'm sitting there going, should I just stop? Should I quit? And I know other business owners feel this too, but like to take that and to do something, it is quite literally my people. And that might just be because I'm like sensitive, but and I like need the rah, but it would not have happened. I actually chalk a lot up to my husband because he's very patient.
Yeah.
I have been so many nights up until 3 a.m, or even like last night, I was like working on my laptop trying to be quiet next to him, and he was patient with me. It was just being like, hey, it's cool, do your thing. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, just being cool with it.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, at the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.